Hello, welcome to Meditation 103. How did you go yesterday? Did you do Meditation 102 and 101? Basically just to talk through some of the principles of meditation, posture, breathing, and allowing the breath, observing the breath as it is, not as you want it to be. And today I wanted to answer some questions that I have been asked in the comments on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. People keep asking, when is the best time to meditate? And really, whenever you like, but I personally find that it is best for me to meditate as soon as I wake up. When I wake up in the morning, at the moment there's no alarm because we're in quarantine. I wake up in the morning, before I pick up my phone and start scrolling and checking what's happened in the world, I set up my pillows in my bed and I set a timer. And I go for it. I hit that timer. Sometimes, I usually, minimum I meditate for about 20 minutes a day. And then sometimes if I'm feeling it, 40 minutes, sometimes in the morning and in the evening. Ultimately, I love doing morning and evening. I just find it's a lovely bookend. But whatever suits you, set a timer for 5 minutes. Tomorrow set it for 6 minutes, so on and so forth, and build it to what's comfortable for you. And also know that this sort of process of coming back to the breath is available for you, to you, throughout the day. Sometimes I find, what's an example of when I was doing something, I was doing this podcast. It was a conversation that wasn't even that heated, but it was a really important conversation. And I felt my heart racing and I was blushing and I was losing control of my faculties, just sitting there waiting for my turn to speak. And I was like, okay, just need to breathe. And I just sat there, tried to focus my breath, calm myself down, and bring it all back to the very present moment. Because right now, in this very moment, everything is perfect. It's just the worrying that makes you think that things might not be perfect. But right now, in this very moment, everything is the way that it is. And the process of meditation, I guess the theory behind it goes a bit like this, that we have our 5 senses: sight, smell, taste, hearing, touch. And those are all inputs for our brain. And the way it works, let's take sight for an example, is that the light from an object in the outside world hits the back of your retinas and forms an image that your brain, that's called cognition. And then taking that image, your brain then compares, to a library of all of your past experiences and knowledge in your brain, and it recognizes what that input is. Then, based on that recognition, your brain then creates sensations as to whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. So, for example, if you see a flower, your brain's like, oh, that's a flower. I like flowers. Or, oh God, flowers give me hay fever. Whatever it may be. It's different for everybody. If you see an ex-partner who maybe you're angry at still, you see that person and you tense up, you might get flushed, your heart might beat. There's a whole chain reaction of chemical reactions going on that cause the heat or cause the heartbeat or whatever it is. There's a whole bunch of little messages that are sent through your body to different parts of it, a bunch of chemical reactions that occur. Now, the next step is how our past conditioning and old habit patterns relate to those sensations. So the heat, it's like, oh, I'm mad, I'm angry, or oh, that's nice, it's pleasant. And we're sort of constantly living in a state of reacting, of craving and aversion to different things, whether they're pleasant or unpleasant. And so the whole function of meditation is to break that chain and insert a moment between the sensations and the reaction so that we may have a little bit more power over how we act. Rather than just being bounced around like a ping pong ball, we are able to pause, observe, and make a decision rather than just a reaction. So today we're going to try 5 minutes of meditation. Yesterday was 3 minutes. We're just slowly building it each day. And somebody commented that their breathing got more rapid and so they stopped. Now, if your breathing gets more rapid, that's fine. Obviously, if you're hyperventilating, don't stop and do what you need to do. But if your breathing gets faster, that's okay. That's just part of your reality today. If it changes throughout the 5 minutes, that's also okay. We're just here to observe those changes and to observe what's going on and not react to it. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I've always thought of it as almost like a mini brainwashing, where you're like washing your brain of the habit of reacting to stuff by just doing this practice where you're constantly presented with things that you would normally react to, and instead of reacting, you just observe. And slowly, over time, that kind of filters out into your everyday life, and you'll find that rather than like just reacting to things that you normally would, you'll find yourself in a situation where you'll be like, oh, I don't have to be angry at that, or I don't have to be whatever. It could be happy or it could be sad, but rather than sort of bouncing up and down between happiness and sadness or frustration and joy and whatever, we become a bit more even keeled, and we're still able to feel all the joy, but rather than it becoming us, we just observe it. So sometimes people think like, oh wait, so we're just meant to wander around like robots, and no, that's not the point. You still feel all of the joy, but rather than seeing something that makes you happy and then clinging onto it, becoming attached to it and hoping that it never ends, you just see it and you appreciate it for what it is, and you're able to observe and enjoy and really truly feel the full sense of joy, or alternatively the full sense of sadness or fear and all of those dark emotions and feelings as well, because they're all just as valid. We're not trying to seek pleasure and avoid pain, we're just trying to be. So when something is sad, when I broke up with my ex-boyfriend, it was the first time that I had just allowed the sadness and allowed the pain and the rejection and all of those states of grieving. Rather than trying to push them away, I was just like, you know what? This is sad and I feel sad, and that's okay. And it was really fascinating because I grieved so much faster than normal because I wasn't trying to push things away. I was just allowing them and processing them and dealing with them and almost reveling in the sadness and the pain, not becoming a victim of it and not allowing it to become my identity, but rather just allowing the natural process. And it's quite revolutionary to just feel your emotions and not react to them. And it's strangely, I feel it's more authentic than the craving, the clinging, or the aversion and the pushing away that we normally participate in. So I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. If you can't do it, it's totally fine. We're just here to observe what's going on. So if you close your eyes, sitting up, breathing in and out through the nose. Just relaxing the body, letting go of all the tension that you're feeling, letting go of everything that's been going on today or in the world. And right now, for the next 4 minutes and 30 seconds, we're just going to sit here and we're going to focus on our breathing. Our intention is to gently maintain focus on the sensation of the breath coming in and out of our nostrils. And as your mind wanders, and it will, just recognize that. Notice that you've drifted off and that you're thinking about something else. And just remind yourself that right now, our intention is to focus on our breathing. And you can come back to that idea or thought later on. Just breathing in and out through our nose. Feeling the breath as it flows naturally, not trying to make it anything other than exactly what it is, accepting our reality as it is, not as we want it to be. Just allowing it. If you're feeling like you want to adjust or fidget, just maintain your posture. Know that this will be over in a few moments. That discomfort will pass. But just to hold this position for another few minutes won't see you coming to any harm. Maybe a little discomfort, and that's okay. Just observe that discomfort. My back is hurting a little bit, and that's okay. And then bring your attention back to the breath. As you're breathing in and out, feeling the breath, cool or warm, fast or slow, through one nostril or both nostrils. Now start to also notice the top lip and the part of your face between your nose and your lip. See if you can feel any of the breath on that area above your lip. Can you feel the breath as you breathe out touching above your lip? Or as you breathe in, can you feel the absence of that? Just focusing your attention to that whole area, your nose, your upper lip, and any sensations that you might feel. Any tingling, any itches, the contact of the breath. And opening your eyes, bringing your attention back into the room. That was 5 minutes. It's quite pleasant, I thought. I could hear some little birds chirping outside the window. Just tried to bring my attention back to my breath, as lovely as the birds are. Could feel a little bit of a lower back sort of tightness. Wanted to do this without trying to adjust, but just decided to maintain my focus for the full 5 minutes. Then you get to the end and you're like, oh look, I didn't need to scratch or I didn't need to adjust. I was just able to be. And all of those sensations are impermanent. They come and they go, they arise and they pass away. And all moments are transitional. This moment that we're currently in the world will pass and life will return to a new state of normal. I hope you enjoyed this meditation. I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe let's try 8 minutes tomorrow. Hope you have a lovely day. Bye.